Well, we still do not understand why there has been several delays. This is the third delay in 2 months. The first one was on September the 18th. The other one was yesterday, and then again today. This afternoon, when the judge came into the courtroom, he said that due to time constraints, he is not able to deliver judgment, and so he has said that he will do it tomorrow in the morning at 8. However, some people have a feeling that it's probably because of events that preceded this afternoon, where we understand that in the county of Mandera, that is on the border of Kenya and Somalia, there was a terror attack in which a bus was sprayed with bullets, and at least 5 people were injured in that attack.
All right, so the attack that happened today in this particular case, wherein the judgment was expected today, what are the police, or what information are you getting from the ground? Could they be related somehow?
Well, it's difficult to tell, but we have seen such incidences just before the ruling in the Garissa attack, the Garissa University attack case. An attack was carried out at the Dusit Hotel complex in Nairobi, where several people, at least 27 people, lost their lives. So it is not clear if this could be related. Sometimes it's a very sensitive situation. But one of the things that was also very telling is that today, unlike other days when we have come for this case in court, there were special anti-terrorism security officers all around the court. Initially, it was supposed to be held outdoors, and then this afternoon, when it became clear that the judge was going to come into the courtroom, we were moved from outside where we had been put in a tent, and we were brought into a room, and the whole room was surrounded by armed police officers. And by the time the accused persons were brought in, the officers were actually more than the journalists that were there in the courtroom. But that case will now, the judgment in that case will only be delivered tomorrow. So we are still going to be here again tomorrow to tell you what happens.
Mm-hmm. But for someone who's not familiar with what this case is all about, Sarah, let's just take a step back and reflect on what actually happened, of course, in September of 2013.
Well, in September 2013, it was an afternoon on a Saturday. People were going about their business, and a mall just a few kilometers from here, the courts, in a neighborhood called Westlands, was attacked. The gunmen stormed and started shooting. They were able to put out the lights, and so they killed several people. One, because there was a cookery competition for children going on at the rooftop of that mall. It was a Saturday afternoon, just towards the end of the month, so a lot of people were doing their monthly shoppings. There were people who were just meeting. It's a normal mall with everything. There was a couple related to President Kenyatta who were preparing for their wedding, and they were having tea just outside, and these are among the people who lost their lives. There are people in the diplomatic corps who were having their meetings. The area where it is situated is in a neighborhood that you will have expatriates, you will have people from the upper echelons of society, but you'll also have walk-in clients who will come in to grab a coffee, to get into the shopping mall. So, but when you look at the composition of the people who died, there were about 27 nationalities. So the Al-Shabaab militant group had done its homework well, and they knew that they would have maximum impact. Indeed, it is called one of the worst terrorism attacks on Kenyan soil. Also, because at the time of the attack, Kenya had just sent its troops to Somalia, and so it was expecting that the country would now be safe. But clearly, this was the beginning of several other terror attacks that have followed that one.
All right. So we wait and see what happens tomorrow, of course, as you go back to that particular case. But let's just talk about this attack. You reflected a bit on it at the beginning of our conversation, the one that happened there in Mandera. What information do you have? Because we understand that a bus was sprayed with bullets, and it is suspected to be an Al-Shabaab attack.
Yes, indeed. It was this afternoon. The bus was traveling back to Nairobi. A lot of people now traveling back to the city because schools are due to reopen, and also because the country has reopened its economy. So those who may have traveled up country were already beginning to travel back home. So these people were traveling back to Nairobi from Mandera. Mandera is on the border of Kenya and Somalia, far-flung area, in a porous border between Kenya and Somalia. And so we understand that the militant group may have sneaked into the country. They sprayed the bus with bullets. Out of the passengers who were in the bus, 5 of them were injured, one of them critically. They are being treated in hospitals within Mandera, but we understand one of them may be airlifted into the country. Now, the Al-Shabaab militant group has not claimed responsibility for the attack, but the fashion in which it was carried out points a finger at them, because they have carried such attacks in that part of the country several times over the past years.
All right, Sarah, let's leave it at that. We thank you so much for coming through, our SABC News correspondent there. Sarah Kimani, of course, as you may have heard, that the judgment in the case of 3 suspects linked to a terrorist attack that happened in Kenya in September of 2013 will be delivered tomorrow. And of course, we've also reflected a bit on the news that a bus was sprayed with bullets in a suspected Al-Shabaab attack in Mandera in Kenya. And of course, Sarah saying that Al-Shabaab has not yet claimed responsibility of that particular attack, but of course the reports are based on how it was carried out.